we Iranian people should just keep focusing on everybody supporting us on this continuing these military operations and not worry about everybody getting everything 100% correct, right? Because we might be alienating some of our allies if we were like, "Oh, you're supporting us the wrong way. This is wrong. You're getting that information wrong. Like this is not the proper way to support us." Like I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, okay, well then I don't know. I guess I'm not qualified enough to be able to support this. Like I guess I'm not educated enough. I'm not going to touch the subject." All right? I think we need to just be grateful that they care about our freedom and liberating Iran, and if they ask us, we'll tell them what we think about this whole separatist nonsense and everything. But I'm not going to chase people down and tell like, "You're supporting us the wrong way." And I think that that is like, uh, and, and because I think that once we're free, the Iranian people are strong enough to be able to defend their borders. I think that some Israelis and some Americans, not 100% understanding what the situation on the ground is not because they are doing so much to get us to the point where we could actually start defending our borders. And that's what matters. That's what matters. So I think we should be just lazy, as Susie mentioned, we should be just laser focused on getting us to the finish line and not worry about the fact that certain some of our allies in the war in this war think that, I don't know, maybe the Kurdish separatist group are good. Maybe we should give them certain things. Maybe they have a chance. Maybe their involvement is a good thing. It's fine. Everybody could think that as long as we get rid of the Islamic Republic, we will deal with defending our borders after we get rid of the Islamic Republic. Just as this, the sooner we get to the point where we untie the hands of Iranian people, the sooner we will unleash this great national power of the Iranian people to go and protect their borders. Okay, so just let's just focus on untying their hands.
Yeah, I got you, man. That makes sense. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that because I know I mean, if you could have a nice friendly chat with them, not being not accuse them of anything because I know your friends. It's just you could just tell them like just have a talk if you wanted to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to give you a heads up.
Sometimes, sometimes even if you completely are friendly on something, it comes off as ungrateful. You know what I mean? And these are people who have been such strong allies of us. And sometimes a correction of getting something wrong might come off as like, "Wow, we're supporting these people, and they're just telling us that we're not doing it the proper way." So I think like if I ever have a chance to message any of these people, I want my message to be focused on appreciation rather than correction. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's all. Do the
That's
work.
I appreciate that. Like that's good to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Okay.
I hear you, man. Makes sense.
Okay. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
next we have Harris.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to make a point. That I watched one of Haviv's latest podcasts, and it was an awesome podcast where he was talking about how this war is basically an American war and not really an Israeli war. And even though people are saying that Israel basically dragged America into this war. That's just not the actual reality. So there's a regional chessboard on which Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all these Emiratis play. Right. That's the chessboard that Israel is playing on right now. But there's a second chessboard that's vastly larger on which the United States and China are the primary players. And on this board, the central question of the next 30 years is being worked out whether the American led global order survives or whether the China one gets displaced. So, right, every significant American foreign policy decision that you see from the last couple of months from Donald Trump, whether that's the Maduro, whether it's the tariffs, it's all the moves being made on this vastly larger board, right? And so what happened was once Iran sort of embedded itself so deeply in China's architecture, whether that's military, technology, the economy, it stopped being that small regional problem. It became, part of a much larger contest between the United States and China as a whole. So just the one last thing I want to point out is that the Americans went to war with the Israelis because that's the best way to fight a war like this, right? So having a loyal ally that's willing to deal some serious damage and absorb blowback lowers costs to Americans and essentially increases the chance for success. But if America ever finds itself in like a kinetic fight with China, it's going to leverage Taiwan, it's going to leverage Japan and South Korea to play a similar role in the fighting. That's all I wanted to just add to this
So
topic.
so I agree, and I also disagree a little bit, because I think that I don't want to under Israel. It's not that Israel is just a very very helpful. I think
Yes.
Israel is necessary. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, Israel is not just a pawn. Israel is, without Israel, United States would not be have the political capital to be able to do everything it's doing in the Middle East. So I just want to give Israel a lot more credit than just a pawn of United States. So I mean, if Israel is giving United States a lot of leverage, well, United States is giving Israel a lot of leverage as well, right? So the relationship is goes both ways. And you're right, when it comes to China, United States will also use its allies like Japan, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Australia. There's a lot of allies there when it comes to containing the threat of China. However, none of them come even close to
No.
what
Yeah, you
Israel
have
is
to do it.
capable
Yep.
of doing, right? Like Israel's military ability is on a different level. Like no country has eliminated America's enemies more than Israel, right? So it's an ally like no other. I do agree that getting rid of the Islamic Republic, it makes a lot of sense before this Cold War between United States and China is about to start. We're rapidly moving to this phase of world history where it's going to become obvious that basically United States and China are on a major competition for dominance over energy and rare earth metals and trade routes and strategically military locations, right? And
Hmm.
unlike many things in economics, this is a winner take all zero sum game, a competition between China and United States. And given that China's dominance over rare earth metals, United States has to have as much dominance over energy in this new era
Yeah.
of AI and technology that we're getting in. So it makes sense for the oil-rich countries to all be U.S. To most of them to be U.S. allies before we enter this phase of world history. And Iran being a playground for China and Russia would put the United States at a serious disadvantage entering this new phase. So it was absolutely necessary for Iran to become a U.S. ally before we enter this
Yeah.
phase. It gives the United States a lot of a huge upper hand once we enter that phase. So that's why it was very important for us to do this.
And the funny thing is, one of the most revealing subplots of this whole situation is just Russia recently signed a strategic partnership with Iran, I believe, in January last year, and then China and when the missiles drop, basically just pin drop silence, right? And I think that even this war even made BRICS completely irrelevant as a whole.
Wait, was BRICS relevant at some point? Okay. Oh,
It
sorry.
was that it was the way that Trump is playing this. He's looking at it from a Chinese hegemony. He's trying to disrupt the
Right.
Chinese hegemony, right? That's where his mindset is. So he just wants to
Okay.
dismantle as much as he can. But when you think of it from this perspective, a lot of like chips kind of fall into place. So it's not like Netanyahu would dragged Trump into this war. I don't think that that's an accurate assessment. Because a lot of people on the
That's
social media are saying it, and it's kind of like childish thinking.
No, the reason why a lot of people on social media are talking about, so the information that is coming out shows that apparently President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu were on the same page for a long time now, and apparently a lot of the disagreements was just for show to confuse the Islamic Republic, right? So it seemed like they were completely on the same page. The information that the social media is running with regards to like, oh, Israel is dragging us United States into this war is something Marco Rubio and some other people said regarding an information that made Israel want to attack earlier, and then Americans had to get involved earlier because Israel had to get involved earlier. It changed the date of the military operation from, I don't know, from a Sunday to a Friday. Like, it just moved it by a couple of days. The military operation was already a plan to go, like they already, like both United States and Israel had already planned this a long time ahead. Like, they actually had, apparently they had planned this even before their Lion and Thunder revolution. Like, this was this they had this plan to do this way, like a long time ago, like a couple of months ago. So the only thing that changed because of what Israel had to do, because of the information that they got, was basically change the date of the military operations just by a few days. And so that made the Americans also have to enter the military operations a couple of days earlier. That's what's happening. But they're pretending that that shows that the entire military operation is because of Israel, which is, I mean, these people would always say that anyway, so it doesn't really matter.